Hi, I am Cager on Wheels, and today we'll be reviewing the Nolan N80-8. With this tongue twister of a name, this is the evolution to the N87 or N87. Remember, some time ago I reviewed the N87 because I bought one for Cagerina. And I was quite impressed by the quality and the look of it. It was twice as good as I thought it would be, and she liked it. But I couldn't wear it because it just wouldn't fit. It was just too small. But I was so impressed that a few months later, I bought this one for me. Now, this is not the exact same helmet. This is the evolution of that previous helmet. And this is a 240, 270, 330 euro helmet, depending on the graphics you choose. And this is my main pet peeve with this one. It's not just Nolan. These guys do this also, and I hate that. And that why, oh why, is a more expensive helmet just because of the graphics. I understand that a plain white or plain black helmet would be a bit cheaper, okay, or maybe just plain matte black. But why is it that Nolan, especially on this one, there's one helmet, this is 250, then there's another one for 260 or 269 or something like that, like 10 or 15 euros more, with some simple graphics like all black with just little detail in yellow or red or something like that. Then there's another one which has bigger stripes, and so that's like 20 bucks more. And then there's one that's 300, and then there's another which is a 25-year replica or 25-year celebration helmet, which costs something like 330. It's the same helmet. Come on. It's not just Nolan. Everyone does this. Please stop. It's time to stop. Get some help. And you guys that are going to buy helmets, do not buy the most expensive graphics, so the manufacturers learn that that is not a good business practice. Come on. Makes no sense, and I hate that. Therefore, plain white. In other news, the simple graphics on the Nolan N80 I think are the best. They look really nifty. They're the ones with just the cheaper graphics. They look really, really good. They're subdued, they're very discreet, very elegant. I like them quite a lot. The other ones are flashy and just plain weird. Kind of like this one, which is just a big Ferrari red helmet. It's literally Ferrari red. You see, it's the Italian flag with Ferrari red. Okay, so why do I have these two here? It's a bit weird to be reviewing this one with two other helmets. Well, since most helmet parameters are very subjective, I brought along my last two helmets. This is a Shoei XR1100. This is not actually mine. I actually liked this one so much that I bought another one for my son. This is my son's helmet. My helmet was heavily damaged in the crash, so I'm not going to bring a partially broken helmet here. This is much prettier. So this is the Shoei XR1100. It is a top-of-the-line Shoei helmet. Originally cost some 600 euros or $600. So it is a very expensive helmet. It is also nearly 10 years old since it was manufactured, maybe even more, or designed, maybe even more. Maybe it's even an even older helmet, I'm not sure, but it's an older generation helmet. This is a Schubert SR2, the evolution of the SR1, which is a race helmet tuned down for the road. It is also a 600-year-old helmet, so they're not even in the same league. These cost at least double, this one even more than double. We're talking about 240 euros versus 650 or 670 euros, something insane. Actually, I bought these at a discount because they were being discontinued, so that was a smart buy. But they're not even in the same league. But they are my old helmets, so I can compare which is which because I have experience with these. I have been riding this one nearly daily for the past few months. This is why this review took so long, because I've been really testing this out instead of just giving you the first impressions from the first week or so. And so, what does this helmet have? I almost called it a bike. Everything. For this low price of $250, you have literally every single piece of equipment you can have on the helmet. So you have The standard ventilation with a rear extractor. I like how all manufacturers have their own pompous names for what are basically holes in the top, holes in the front, and holes in the rear. Dynamic ventilation extraction system, and what, it's all the same thing. So you have your ventilation, you have your visor, it's a full face helmet like the others. You have your internal sun visor, which is spring loaded, very nice. You have your NCOM or Nolan COM, which is by Cardo, pre-installed. You can remove this little lids and it just fits in here, keeps flush. It can be pre-installed, so it has space for the cabling, space for the speakers. So setting up this one was a treat. Everything just fits in place, and you can even use the hole through the shell to pass the cables instead of going around the bottom. You have a micrometric fastener instead of like these two, the double Ds. I prefer the double D rings. But this one's actually pretty good. These have come a long way since the start. They started being plasticky, horrible things. Then they become metal. This one's back into plastic. It's not quite plastic, it's ABS. It's very resistant. I've been using this thing violently, and it has no indication of any sort of wear whatsoever, so this will last. It's also much bigger than the initial ones, so you can just fasten it like this and have a bigger space for your neck in case you're wearing a big jacket, or all the way through in case you're not wearing a big jacket. It's easy to put on and put off. It's actually quite more practical than the double D, even though I can put the double D with my eyes closed with gloves on in like a second or so, but this is undoubtedly easier to put on and off. Okay. You also have pre-installed and comes with the helmet pin lock. It just comes the helmet with a pin lock already. You don't have to fiddle with removing the visor and straightening it out, putting the pin lock, closing, and then it's not quite right, and shuffling. No, it's just done. And you also have here on the rear little ports or pods, so you can stick in what Nolan calls the ESS, which is a sensor. You have to buy it separately. You stick it here, and when your head brakes, a little red light appears to show that you are braking. Nifty, pretty nifty. You also have, almost forgot, there's so much stuff I kind of forgot. Obviously, the liner is fully removable, washable, like these two and like any over €150 helmet should have nowadays. And you also have these little red tabs, which is to remove the cheek pads quickly in case of crash. You just yank this out and they just come out, and then the helmet slides off your head with no issues whatsoever. So, equipment-wise, it has everything. These don't have that. These don't have the internal sun visor. These don't have the emergency cheek pad remover. These don't have the pre-installation for the intercom. This one has space for the speakers. This one doesn't even have that. So this has a lot more equipment than much more expensive helmets. So that's a plus. Cheaper with more gear. So this is a great helmet. It's good. It's very good. But these are better because they cost more than double. So let's go through all the different parameters. First one, sound, noise. This is not a noisy helmet, but it is noisier than these two. This is the quietest by quite some margin. Just opening the vents on top makes a difference. You can hear difference from these vents. This one's a close second. It is a very noisy helmet, but Schubert, they know how to do these things, and what they did is that this helmet has earmuffs on, so the cheek pads have a big part of foam that presses against your ears, so you're riding around like this. The helmet, because of the ventilation and the way the front ventilation is made, is very noisy, and I only understood this when I started recording, and my microphone, which is here, started picking up a ton of wind noise that I didn't get because my ears were behind an earmuff. But apart from that detail, the sound that actually goes into your head, very low on this one, very, very low on this one, average on this one. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not great. It is roughly what I would expect for a mid-range helmet. So this is in line with the price. It's as noisy as you're paying for it. Safety-wise, I don't have the sharp test for this one because it hasn't been sharp tested yet, but it's very easy to figure out what the sharp testing will be, which will be 4 stars, because every single Nolan helmet ever has always had 4 stars. All of them since the beginning of time. Nolan makes very safe helmets and they do not compromise on that. And there are more details that will show you why they don't compromise on that, but it's a very safe helmet. I think it's actually safer than this one and as safe as this one, which are helmets that cost double. It is a very safe helmet on par with top-of-the-line helmets from 2 top-of-the-line brands. And then you have ventilation. Ventilation, it is, as expected, the worst of the 3. Okay, that's fine, it costs half. This one has excellent ventilation, it was one of the best. The top ventilation is the best I have ever had on any helmet ever. The front one is second best. This one has great front ventilation. Again, it has a big grill in the front and this scoop, so it has awesome ventilation at the front, good ventilation on top. This one is kind of average, it's not bad. You don't feel air in your face like this one, and you don't feel air blowing directly on your head and through your head and out the back like you feel with this one, but you do feel the difference when you close this very easy to use vent here. It's very easy to use even with gloves, even not looking like this. This one's a bit harder, it's a bit stiffer, but you don't really need to use this one much. You keep it open all the time and that's it. You don't feel the air, but it's noticeable. When you have it closed, you start riding and you feel it's hot. This is hot. It's stuffy in here. And you open the front one and you open the top one, and then it stops being stuffy and hot. And in the summer, you really notice. You open it and you feel a big difference. Okay. On the other hand, this is the first helmet I own that when I stop at the red light or even riding around at low speeds, I ride like this, or at least half open. These, I don't need that. This one, I need. I don't like that feel of breathing my own breath. This one has a bit of that. This one had a lot of that, even with the superior ventilation. This one has none of that because of the front grille. But again, it is the ventilation I would expect from a €300 helmet. Not from a 250, but from a 300. It's fine. It's not horrible. It's just that I am comparing to some very, very good helmets in this respect, and some very, very good helmets that cost more than double. So it is not a fair comparison. True. Compared to my other helmets, like the K4, this is miles ahead of the K4, the AGV K4 that I used to have, and it is marginally better on the top than the AGV Horizons, and worse at the front because the AGV Horizon has a huge vent like this one, which creates a huge amount of noise that this one doesn't have. Aerodynamically, I was surprised. This is very good aerodynamically. Obviously, race helmet by Schubert, it's going to be super stable. Shoei XR 1100, again a race helmet or race-ish helmet by Shoei, obviously super stable. Riding on the highway at any speeds with the helmet in any direction, you don't feel anything. You're just cutting through the air smoothly. They're 2 fantastic helmets in that regard. This one is as good as these 2. I wasn't expecting that, honestly. It's excellent. I don't have vibrations. I'm not riding like this, like I was with my AGV Horizon or my K4, I was behind the windscreen shaking. In fact, I remember the first time I rode with this one in the highway, suddenly I was amazed. Wait, hang on, I can see. Because I was so used to having my head vibrating all the time that everything was slightly blurry, and suddenly I could see everything. It was amazing. And this one is very much like that. Even with the Mohawk and the GoPro and this, super stable. There's absolutely no issues riding on the highway at any speed, even with varying heights of windscreen, because that is a big factor, not only in the aerodynamics but also in the sound. Soundproofing and aerodynamics vary wildly from person to person. It depends on a huge amount of factors, from what bike you are riding, how tall is the windscreen, how tall are you, what kind of jacket you are using, because if your jacket collar goes very high up, your helmet is quieter. If it's a low jacket collar or like a t-shirt, it's a lot louder. So it depends on a lot of factors. But aerodynamically, as good as these 2, which is quite surprising. I was expecting it to be a bit wobblier. It is not. Build quality on this is also on par with these ones, which was also a very good surprise. Not a surprise because I had seen this on the other one, the N87, and that's one of the reasons why I bought it. It is an extremely well built helmet. In fact, this feels very good, and you can feel it through this. It's such a nicely built helmet. It does creak a lot, or a bit, but you don't really hear this while riding. Okay, it's supposed to be flexible, and it's due to the construction of it itself. We'll go to there. So, as you can see, this is a very good helmet, and it goes toe to toe with helmets that cost double, or nearly toe to toe. I would, and I did, pay the 300 euros extra that I bought for these ones, and just, okay, I won't pay 300, and I'll gain a bit less ventilation and a bit less sound protection, and I'll be fine with that, which is what I did, which is true. How? How did Nolan make such a good helmet for such a low price? One, this is the evolution of a helmet that already existed, so it's easier to it's just a redesign, so it'll keep costs down. But still, 250 for a helmet this good? Where's the trick? Where's the catch? There is a catch, two in fact. And the catch is this word right here, Lexan. So what is this? Nolan proudly says this helmet is made of Lexan and the visor is made of Lexan. What is Lexan? Lexan is polycarbonate, basically what sometimes we derogatively say or call plastic helmets. This is a plastic helmet. Although Lexan is not plastic. Actually, Lexan or polycarbonates, Lexan is a brand of polycarbonates, is basically the ideal material to make a helmet. There is no better material to make a helmet. Hang on, we'll get to that. It is very easy to build a helmet. This is just injection molding. You just put it on the mold and out comes a helmet. It is very cheap. It is extremely durable, extremely hard, and extremely flexible, and extremely resistant to penetration. So sharp objects beating on polycarbonate helmets have a really tough time penetrating. That's why this is basically the ideal material to make a helmet. It has one big drawback, which is weight. It is heavy, very heavy. On the other hand, to make a helmet like these, made of various fibers, fiberglass and aramid and Kevlar and whatnot, these helmets become a lot more expensive because they are hard to build. They are more expensive because to make them as safe as a polycarbonate helmet, these need to be very well designed and very well built, and they need to be engineered. This is a simpler material, and the material itself provides all the protection and more than you would need. Okay? The drawback is weight. This helmet weighs 1,650 grams. This one weighs 1,300 grams. And this one, even though the sticker's not here, and this is not my size, I think it was 1,450. So it's 350 grams less, this one. It is noticeable. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot on your head. You feel the difference. That's the big drawback of this one. That's where they cut the corners, or they cut the cost the most, is the shell. Polycarbonate, so it's a lot cheaper. And that's how they did it. On the other hand, Nolan only builds helmets made out of Lexan. So they know how to do these things very, very well. So that's why the helmet is so cheap and so good, because they know how to do these. They only do these, and so they can pile on the equipment, pile on the features, and keep the price low. Which is something which I am glad to... It's a balance that I'm very glad to take, to make a bigger bang for buck helmet with just this slight disadvantage. Another slight disadvantage, and this one I would like to see Nolan fix, is that this helmet only has two shell sizes. You have one shell size from XS to M, and then another one from L to XXXXL, elephant sized. Which is a problem for me because I am an L shape, L sized head. The M just doesn't fit. So I'm wearing an XXL helmet on my head. It's huge, it's gigantic. It doesn't look huge because the helmet is very well designed, has some very nice lines, so it doesn't look enormous. It just looks kind of big, but it doesn't look enormous. This one from Shoei, on the other hand, on my head, looked like a big aquarium. This one is fine because Schubert has a ton of shell sizes. I think it's like 6 or something absolutely ridiculous. So it's exactly the correct size. How they do this? This is a big shell, and it's the width of the insides that matters, that fits the size helmet. So mine's an L with very big and fat insides. For this one, it is the correct size, so it's standard. If you have the M size on this one, it's a smaller shell. It's a lot lighter, like 150 grams, which is a big difference. Because the insides are much thinner, because it's actually a child-sized helmet on a adult-sized head. That's the only thing I would like fixing. Nolan, 3 shell sizes minimum. 1 M and L, 1 S and below, and 1 XL and above, because most of your customers are M's or L's, and it just makes sense. This is it's a cost-cutting measure that I don't like, and that's the only thing I don't like. Other than that, it is a fantastic helmet. Visibility-wise, also between the 3, they're all different, because remember, this is a race helmet. It's meant to be ridden like this. This is a semi, and this is a street helmet, to be ridden like this. They also all fit differently on your head. This one, when I put it on, the chin bar goes up to my nose, and the top goes like this. So this is the viewport I have. Why? Because when I bend down, because I'm on a race bike, and I peek up, I can still see the road. This one is different. This one sits here on my face, by my eyebrows, basically, and the chin bar goes below my nose, and it's tilted down, so I can read my instruments, which I couldn't do with this one. With this one, which I still use when I have this one to see the instruments, see how fast I'm going, I have to physically look down quite a lot to look at them. This one, I just need to glance. They're different. The viewport is very good. This is excellent. This is very good. It's basically equivalent and a little bit worse than this one. And this one has a very huge viewport. This viewport is also very good, very wide, very nice, but it has a difference. This is very wide, but here at the very edge, it just slightly tilts up. Let me show you. This very edge here, it's not noticeable here, but it just tilts slightly up. So basically when I'm riding and I'm looking over my shoulder, it covers like this. So I can't look here, down. I can look up here, not down. So I either tilt like this and I can look up, or I tilt my head more to look. This one is flatter, and it's also a bit closer to my head. So when I look like this, I can look back way more like this, see? I can still see you on this one, and on this one, it's kind of like this. So I need to either bend or turn a bit more. It's the only big difference. Other than that, obviously the vertical viewport is different, but it's very good. One aspect I was very impressed, and I think it's superior to these two. When I put this on first, obviously once the visor is dirty, things change, you have to clean it. But the first time I rode this one, I closed the visor and I was, okay, wait, hang on, is the pin lock here? So I had to open and feel it. And yeah, the optical quality of this is amazing. This is super transparent, super transparent. I had it closed and I wasn't sure if the pin lock was there because I didn't see the visor. It's fully transparent. And then I closed this. And I found myself more than once hitting the visor, trying to see is it closed or not, because I couldn't see a difference between like this and like this. It's with the glasses down, I couldn't see the difference. I don't know if it's open or closed. It's amazing. The internal sunglasses are also brilliant. I've had helmets with internal sunglasses before. I didn't like them. They were very bad. They were cheap. They looked like when I was looking through them, and I'm very anal about these things. They looked like those €5 sunglasses that you can buy like everywhere, like a pharmacy. Horrible, 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 horrible. Plasticky, thick, optically horrible. Some had distortion. The AGV actually had distortion on the sides, and they were like this big. So I could see the whole road was illuminated. So it's very bright on the road, and just the horizon was dark. Not this one though. Check this out. It goes all the way down. Not only goes all the way down, you only have a very thin strip. They can't go all the way down or else they bump your nose, which is uncomfortable. They always leave a little gap, but it's just a very thin strip that you can see that's not darkened. Optically, they are fantastic. They are better than some sunglasses that my kids brand sunglasses, a brand that actually makes 99% of all sunglasses out there. You know what I'm talking about, but it's better than that. I was really amazed. These are really good. And they work very well, and you put it down and you don't see that you're wearing sunglasses. The world just went dark. It's fantastic. More than once I forgot I had them on and I reach a red light and I open the visor and I scratch my nose and I hit the dark visor because it's in there. And oh, hang on, I have to open. Okay, no, I can scratch. It's great. It's way better than I expected. So now I'm wearing these two. I alternate between them because this is not a practical helmet for me, because I go to work in the morning and it's sunny, and in the winter I'm coming back from work at night, so I have to change the visor. But this visor helmet changing system is not very good. I have to press both buttons and then open the visor, which, as you can see, is a bit you need a bit of hand ballet. And this one is not only is a lot simpler to change the visor, I don't have it, but I have the dark visor, so I can just plunk it down to go to work and put it back up to come. It's also very good to wear at dusk, so at sunset. As soon as the sun sets, you can put it up. It's a more flexible helmet. It's a more street riding helmet. It's more a helmet for what I actually do. This is a good helmet for, okay, it's very sunny, let's go. It's a big trip with sun. I'm not going to ride at night. I bring this one. Oh, I am going to be riding maybe at night. Can't bring this one. I'm not going to stop in the middle of a big journey because sun is setting and then stop out, remove the visor, put the dark visor on, the transparent visor on, and go again and have to stuff it back with the rest of the luggage. No, this one's very good for that. So that's it, the Nolan N80-8. This is an absolutely fantastic helmet, especially considering the price. Even not considering the price, it is a very good one. Bang for buck, it is very hard to get any better. And this is a brand thing. Nolan just does this. And you can verify this by yourself, which is what I did. That's why I bought this one. If you go online onto, I don't know, Facebook pages, forums, or whatever passes for forums these days, do a Google search and you'll see that most people that buy a Nolan, they usually are very impressed. It's kind of like what I'm saying here. They go, oh yeah, I was going to buy a helmet because yeah, I needed this one as a secondary helmet or something like that, and they go, and they become impressed and they like it. People who buy Nolans generally really like them, which is refreshing from other brands like, I don't know, AGV and HJC, the biggest two culprits I can remember off the top of my head, where you have people that say, okay, I bought the helmet, but I don't like this one, I'm going to buy another. It doesn't seem to happen with Nolan. People buy them, whatever, even the lower spec ones like the N60, and they love it. I would say I don't know why, but I do know why, because it's a very well built helmet. It's really well built. Everything fits perfectly. Everything is easy to use and fixed. It's not like this one. This is $600 helmet. Look, closed. Okay, fine. But then it's kind of gappy. This looks like an extra part. Well, this one closed looks like it's kind of part of the helmet. You see it's the vent, but this one is an extra. But when you open it, hear the click. Did you hear the click? Yeah, neither did I. And so you don't know if it's actually open or not, and it's very thin here. It's not a big scoop. Seems like it's only half open. And this is a $600 one. This one, oh, it's closed. Let me see if it's open. Yeah, it is. It's just that. Brilliant. So, great helmet. Excellent price for the helmet. I heartily recommend this one. Try it out, even if it's only an N60. What I said about this one is true about the N60. Basically true about any Nolan helmet that I saw so far. There might be exceptions, but basically, from what I've been seeing, it's all the same thing. Cheap helmets, because they're made of Lexan, by a company that only makes Lexan helmets, that knows how to make them very well, so they become very cheap with all the creature comforts you might want. Okay, the N60 doesn't have creature comforts, but that's the whole point. It's even cheaper. This one has all the creature comforts, but lots of equipment, low price, high quality, and very safe. This is basically what Nolan is. So that's it. Cage, you're out.